A quiet moment can reveal more than 1,000 conversations. A baby who cannot speak may lock eyes with one person in a crowded room and refuse to look away. A nervous dog may suddenly relax beside someone it barely knows. A cat that ignores everyone else may quietly choose one lap and stay there. Most people call these moments coincidence. Others feel there is something deeper behind them. The real question is not whether these moments happen. The real question is why they seem to happen again and again around certain people. Across many cultures, stories have described people whose calm presence seemed to draw in children, animals, and even frightened creatures. Some called it a peaceful spirit. Others saw it as a rare kind of sensitivity that could be felt without words. Today, psychology and science offer useful answers, but they still leave room for mystery. Many people who call themselves empaths notice this pattern often. They feel emotions deeply, they sense the moods of others, they often comfort people without trying to stand out. Whether empathy is a personality trait, a skill, or something more spiritual depends on who you ask. But one detail keeps appearing in personal stories. Babies seem drawn to them. Animals seem calm around them. This video is not about proving supernatural powers. It is about exploring why these experiences feel so meaningful, what research says about nonverbal communication, and why some people create a sense of safety without even trying. The truth is often more interesting than the myth because so much communication happens before a single word is spoken. Adults rely heavily on language, but babies and animals do not. Babies study faces, voices, movement, and emotion long before they understand words. Animals watch posture, breathing, tension, and tone. They notice calmness, they notice fear, they notice consistency. In many ways, they become experts at reading emotional environments because their safety depends on it. That changes the whole picture. Maybe they are not sensing something invisible. Maybe they are noticing signals that most adults have learned to ignore. As this video continues, you will learn why a gentle voice, relaxed body language, and steady emotional energy can change how others respond. You will see why babies often stare longer at certain faces, why animals trust some people faster than others, and how emotional consistency builds trust in ways words never can. We will also look at research on empathy, emotional contagion, and the small signals people send without realizing it. Along the way, we will compare science with spiritual beliefs and show where they connect and where they differ. That balance matters because reality is often more remarkable than exaggeration. There is another reason to stay until the end. One of the biggest misunderstandings about empathy is that it is only about feeling emotions. In truth, it is also about the atmosphere a person creates just by being present. Many people try to become more impressive, more charming, or more persuasive. But babies and animals care little about status. They respond to honesty, consistency, and emotional safety. That lesson reaches far beyond empathy. It affects relationships, parenting, leadership, and even the way strangers respond to us every day. There is also a hidden cost. People who make others feel safe often carry heavy emotional weight themselves. They absorb tension, they struggle with boundaries, they leave conversations drained while everyone else feels better. That side of empathy is rarely discussed, yet it matters just as much. By the end of this video, you will understand not only why babies and animals may seem drawn to certain people, but also why protecting your own peace is just as important as giving it to others. Some of what you will hear is supported by psychology and behavioral science. Some comes from personal experience and long-held beliefs. Together, they create a deeper picture of human connection. You do not need to believe every story to learn from it. Sometimes the best answers begin with careful questions. So stay with us until the end, because the final lesson may change the way you see those quiet moments when a baby will not look away, a nervous animal suddenly relaxes, or a silent bond forms without a single word. These moments may not be accidents. They may be reminders that the strongest messages people send are often the ones they never realize they are sending. If you enjoy exploring psychology, empathy, personal growth, and the hidden ways people connect, you are in the right place. Welcome to the channel. Subscribe now, turn on notifications, and join us as we uncover why animals and babies may be drawn to an empath's quiet presence. Words are powerful, but they are not the first language any of us learn. Long before a child understands a sentence, it is already reading the world in another way. A newborn may not know the word kindness, but it can feel the difference between a gentle touch and a rushed one. The same is true for animals. A dog does not need a speech to decide whether it feels safe. A horse does not wait for an explanation. A cat does not ask for proof. They respond first to what they sense, not to what they hear. This changes the way we think about connection. Adults often believe communication begins with words, but it actually begins much earlier, through movement, facial expression, tone, and breath. As people grow older, they become surrounded by language, labels, and expectations. They start judging others by appearance, clothing, status, or confidence. These judgments happen so quickly that they are often unnoticed. Adults rely on shortcuts because life moves fast, but those shortcuts can hide the quiet signals that reveal how someone truly feels. Many people learn to hide fear behind confidence or sadness behind a smile, and others accept the performance because they focus on the message instead of the emotion behind it. Babies do not work this way. They are not impressed by status, clothes, or achievements. They study the person in front of them. They notice whether a smile feels real, whether movements are tense or relaxed, and whether a voice is soft or sharp. Since they cannot rely on language, their brains become highly sensitive to emotional signals. Even very young babies begin recognizing facial expressions and tone early in life, helping them sense whether the people around them are calm, anxious, or safe. Animals depend on a similar process. A dog may notice tension in a person's shoulders before that person realizes they are stressed. A horse can react to nervous energy even when someone tries to appear calm. Cats often watch quietly before deciding whether to approach. These reactions are not magical. They are part of the strong sensitivity animals have developed over time to recognize danger, calmness, and consistency. While humans may get distracted by words, animals keep paying attention to the signals words cannot hide. This is where many people begin talking about empaths. Whether someone uses that word or simply sees themselves as compassionate, one pattern often appears. They tend to slow down, listen carefully, and respond instead of react. Without realizing it, they often create an emotionally stable environment. They pause before speaking, soften their tone, and give others space to feel understood. These habits may seem small, but they can change the emotional atmosphere in powerful ways. Think about how it feels to stand beside someone who is impatient. Their movements become faster, their voice sharper, and their tension spreads to the people around them. This happens because emotions spread quickly through groups. Psychologists call this emotional contagion. Calmness can spread, but so can anxiety. The nervous system naturally responds to the emotional environment. Now think about someone whose movements are steady and whose voice stays gentle even under stress. They give others time to speak and rarely raise their voice. Being near them often feels peaceful. Conversations become easier and silence feels comfortable. They may never call themselves an empath, but their behavior quietly sends one message: you are safe here. That feeling of safety matters more than many people realize. Safety helps the body relax, slows breathing, and reduces tension. Babies naturally seek this because they depend on caregivers to regulate their emotions. When they meet someone with a calm face, warm voice, and predictable movements, they often keep watching. Their attention is not random. It reflects their effort to understand someone who feels emotionally secure. Many parents have seen their baby stare at a stranger with surprising focus. Sometimes the child smiles, and sometimes they simply watch quietly. Developmental psychologists believe babies are constantly collecting information from faces. Calm expressions give them clear emotional signals, while tense expressions create uncertainty. That consistency makes it easier for babies to process what they see. Eye contact also matters. Gentle eye contact is very different from intense staring. A calm person allows eye contact to happen naturally without pressure or demand. Babies often respond well to this because it gives them space to observe without feeling overwhelmed. The same principle applies in healthy relationships later in life. Trust grows when attention feels genuine rather than forced. Facial expressions tell another story. Some people smile only with their mouths, while others smile with their whole face. The eyes soften, the forehead relaxes, and the expression feels real. Babies become skilled at noticing these differences because they spend so much time studying faces. A peaceful expression invites curiosity, while a tense one encourages caution. Body language adds another layer. Fast movements can signal urgency, while relaxed posture suggests patience and control. People who move gently often make babies feel less overwhelmed because there are fewer sudden changes to process. Empathetic people often do this naturally. They kneel instead of towering over a child, lower their voice instead of speaking loudly, and smile softly instead of forcing attention. Their quiet presence often makes children feel even more comfortable. Psychology offers another useful insight. Human beings have systems in the brain that help them recognize and respond to the emotions of others. Babies learn through observation long before they understand language. Every calm interaction teaches them what safety feels like. Every gentle voice helps shape their understanding of trust. This may explain why some people notice babies looking at them in public. The child may simply be responding to emotional signals that stand out in the room. In a noisy place full of hurried conversations, one calm person becomes easier to notice. Their slower movements, relaxed expression, and steady energy hold attention longer than unpredictable behavior. What seems mysterious may sometimes be simple psychology. Of course, not every baby responds the same way. Mood, hunger, tiredness, and personality all matter. One child may smile right away while another stays cautious. That is normal. Human behavior is never controlled by one cause. Still, the pattern is interesting enough that researchers continue studying how infants recognize emotion and build early social connections. For many people who identify as empaths, these observations feel familiar. They describe children becoming comfortable around them quickly, or babies reaching toward them without hesitation. These stories do not prove anything supernatural, but they do point to something real. Calm behavior, emotional consistency, gentle eye contact, and patient attention all help create safety before words are ever spoken. If babies respond so strongly to these signals, another question naturally follows. Human infants are not the only beings that depend on careful observation. Animals also read body language, posture, breathing, and emotional tension with remarkable accuracy. If babies can sense calmness before language develops, perhaps animals are noticing many of the same signals through instincts that have guided them for generations. As we reach the end of this journey, one truth stands out. Whether you see it through psychology, empathy, or human energy, babies and animals respond to what feels real. They notice calmness, kindness, and emotional safety far more than words or appearances. Maybe that is the true strength of an empath, creating a space where others feel safe without saying much at all. Babies and animals may not explain why they trust someone, but they always seem to notice patience, gentleness, and authenticity. Your greatest presence may not be your voice or your appearance. It may simply be the peace others feel when you are near. In a noisy world, that kind of quiet influence is powerful. Sometimes the strongest presence in the room belongs to the person who says the least, but makes everyone feel safe. If this message resonated with you, subscribe to the channel for more insights into empathy, psychology, and personal growth. Leave a like if you have ever noticed a baby or animal drawn to you, and share this video with someone whose quiet presence always makes others feel calm.